right, 28 minutes before the top of the hour. Vice President Kamala Harris comparing the January 6th attacks on the U.S. Capitol to some of the worst tragedies in American history.
Certain dates echo throughout history. December 7th, 1941. September 11th, 2001. And January 6th, 2021.
Well, they all end in one. That's how they're similar. Does it end there? Retired Army Ranger and Florida Congressman Brian Mast joins us now. Congressman, do you think the analogy works?
Not at all. I think she's just strictly historically ignorant, tactically illiterate. She has no reference point of any of this. When you look at making a comparison like that, there were bad actors on January 6th. Nobody's going to deny that. But the tens of thousands of Americans that were there at the Capitol to exercise one of their 5 basic freedoms that America is all about, to assemble and to petition their government, to compare them to Japanese kamikaze pilots or Saudi Arabian suicide pilots, to make that comparison about patriotic Americans, and to think what they were staging, that was their launching point to stage what they call an insurrection with what, Trump flags and the red, white, and blue. It's so illiterate and ignorant to make this comparison. It's disgusting.
It is. And you watched the President of the United States give sound like a partisan address in the Capitol, where he basically was calling out Donald Trump and litigating the election. I thought that was 100% inappropriate, especially he's supposed to be the great unifier. Did you feel a sense of unity after those remarks?
Zero unity. I think I felt what I felt this entire year from the Biden administration, Harris, all of their propaganda enablers in the media and everybody else. I think you could sum them up in one word, and that would be hypocrisy. That's what this whole administration is about. They're going to call January 6th all of these things an insurrection. Nobody's been charged with insurrection, by the way, but they're going to forget that hundreds were arrested between the Supreme Court and the Senate during the Kavanaugh confirmation hearings, or that the White House in the summer of 2020 was surrounded, literally surrounded by BLM with hundreds of members of Congress on the White House grounds, and many of them attacked, like Rand Paul, as they were leaving the White House. That wasn't an insurrection. Or they're going to forget about the 4 months or 5 months, 6 months of anarchy and burning cities, and you can't go in certain parts of Portland. None of those things happened. It's all summed up with the word hypocrisy.
And I remember you being surrounded leaving the White House after the president's, the RNC. They were all over you. I thought you were going to get attacked, but you were unflappable.
Well, they kept their distance because I think they realized I'd actually dispatched them from this world.
You would kick their head in. Meanwhile, we trained 20,000 Afghan commandos at least, and we were waiting for them to fight. But when it was clear they were outmatched, outgunned, they went into hiding. They're now asking for help. They're asking lawmakers and others to help them get out of Afghanistan. What do you think we should do after that utter embarrassment, the biggest embarrassment in the history of American military operations? What do we do to the commandos?
What we owe them, I don't even have words to do the calculation of what we owe them, standing alongside of us, putting in their hearts what a real country could be like, with those things like those 5 basic freedoms that we enjoy here in America, to understand that they could have freedom of religion and press and speech, and to petition their government and all of these things, to teach them about those things and then snatch them away from them, to teach them how to fight for those things in real tactical ways, and then say, we're going to turn our back and we're going to make new friends with your sworn enemy that we've been fighting for the last 20 years. We need to get them out. This administration is doing nothing to do so, and it's literally heartbreaking. And when I say heartbreaking, it is heartbreaking to so many of my fellow veterans. The way they carry this on their shoulders is like nothing I've ever seen.
Please call a press conference over the next few. Maybe today's not good because of the snow, but call a press conference because we'll cover it. These people are dying. They're being hanged. They're being murdered. Their families, if they can't find them, they're killing their families. And this administration, you're not allowed to bring up the word Afghanistan in the White House. Real quick, guess what? We lost about another 24 Navy personnel because they didn't get vaccinated. We lost about 30 Marines. We're about to lose hundreds more. Navy SEALs are suing to stay in, and so far they've stayed. They're allowed to stay for now about the vaccine mandate. What can you do to get Secretary of Defense Austin to pay attention?
Look, one of the things that we do in my office is we take all these individuals that reach out to us. We write a letter to the Pentagon or Navy Special Warfare. You take your pick of who. We say, hey, listen, we want you to sign this letter acknowledging that you take full liability for any and all adverse effects related to this vaccine, right? And of course, the answer is they never get back and acknowledge that. They refuse to acknowledge immunity based upon the fact that people have already been sick. They refuse to talk about anything that doesn't fit their narrative. And so what can you do with people like that that won't listen?